Alright, so the first time that it happened, it wasn't as bad as like it would get later on. I basically remember waking up and I felt like my body was just shutting down. And I remember like slowly, like everything, it was kind of like going from like my head to my feet. Like it just felt like it was shutting down. And I had read about like sleep paralysis, so I already had like an idea of what it was. And I remember like telling myself like, oh, like wake up, you know, like basically it's like I felt like I was sleeping, but like if I opened my eyes I was gonna be able to get out from it. So I was telling myself, like mentally telling myself to wake up, but I couldn't. And then my eyes were closing, and then I tried opening them. It was extremely hard, and I remember that it did not work, so I kind of went into the sleep paralysis. And then that's when I started to panic. My hand, I was trying to move it and I couldn't. Like I felt like I had so much weight on me. Like not just, a lot of people say that they feel something on top of them. Personally, I have never felt that before, thankfully, because I feel like that would be so much more scarier. But I did feel like my body was weight, like the weight on my whole body was like so much that I was not even able to move a little bit. And the second time it kind of got a little worse. I remember waking up, and then I remember that everything, like I felt like my body, like my bed was just moving, like shaking. And in my head I was like oh an earthquake. And oh my god, I'm so dumb. So I remember I woke up, and then I see like I feel everything like shaking except my body. I think, I don't know, this was like a year ago. I felt everything shaking, and then in my head I was like, an earthquake. Like, so I was trying to, like, when I told myself that it was an earthquake, I remember trying to like run, like get up from my bed and run, but I couldn't move, so I was paralyzed. And I remember panicking even more because I was trying to be like, okay. So the third time it happened, and this was happening within months, I think. It's not like occurring every like night. Basically the next time that it happened, I don't remember a lot, and I didn't write it down, sadly. But the only thing I remember from that time is the same thing. Like it always happens the same way. I wake up and I feel like I'm going into sleep paralysis. So like I still have some type of like movement. I'm still able to move a little bit, but I'm able to feel like my whole body shutting down. If that makes sense. So the same thing happened again. I remember telling myself like, you know, move. So I remember I tried, but it didn't work. And the only thing I clearly remember from this time, it was that I remember like looking at the wall. Like, I don't know, I would think I was facing up. And then I remember from like this side, I remember that something was coming out from the wall. Like, it's like, I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things, when the mom's putting like lights on the wall and like there's something that comes out from the wall, kind of like that. But that was that time. Okay, so the fourth time, I think it's the fourth, yeah. The fourth time, once again, I'm not gonna explain myself because the same thing happened. You know, like you feel your body going like shutting down. And this time I was able to kind of like look around, and I remember seeing like the room, like everything. Like I was able to see everything as if I was awake. And I'm saying as if I was awake because at the same time I don't even know if I'm dreaming or if it's real or what. But I remember once I looked around, I saw everything like dark. But imagine like the whole room is filled with like curtains everywhere. So like everything's dark, but you see some light coming from like certain spots that are not like covered with the curtains. And I just remember like feeling like there were like shadows just standing everywhere. Like just standing. I don't know if that makes sense. And by this time I had already done like my research, a little bit more research, and remember that I remember that I was reading that if you move your feet like this, why am I doing this? If you move your feet like this, you're able to like wake your body up, and also if you pray, you're able to get out from the sleep paralysis. So I started like moving my feet as much as I could, and it was extremely hard to do, but it kind of worked. It took some time, but I was able to wake up. And I remember that I woke up, I got out from it, like I got out from it. But once I started, like, okay, so I wake up and then I'm like, oh, you know, I was like kind of annoyed, but then I was too sleepy, so I was going back to sleep. But then the thing with me is that I know that it's going to happen because there's like this sound in my ears, like there's like this loud sound that I hear, which is, I don't know, it's weird to explain. It's kind of like so I hear that, and when I hear the sound, it's kind of like it's a sign for me to be like, girl, wake the fuck up because it's about to happen again. So I remember that I was, you know, like I woke up from it and then I was going back to sleep, but then I heard the sound, so I was like, shit. So I get up and I start using my phone because I didn't want it to happen again. So after using the phone for like 5 minutes, it stopped. I was able to go back to sleep, which was great. And then it kind of stopped for a while, and then recently it started happening again. This week it already happened 4 times, I think, 4 or 3 times. Okay, so the next time that it happened, I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday night. So I remember waking up with a loud sound in my ear, once again, like the boom, the sound. And I remember this time that it was extremely loud and the sound was different. And all I remember was hearing the sound and kind of seeing a person like pushing a cart from like the market, like I don't know what you call them, but like I remember seeing like, and the person was like a shadow, so like it didn't have like, I don't remember seeing like a human being. It was more like a shadow, like something dark that was just pushing it. And then the sound that it made when it was pushing the car was the sound I was hearing on my ear. And I remember getting so scared, and I started moving my feet as fast as I could, and then I was able to wake up. I was able to fall asleep again, and then later on I woke up again and I heard the sound again. And this time it's been like the most scariest one. So I remember waking up, hearing the sound, and I remember this time I was so scared. Like I felt something next to me, and like I didn't dare to look at it because just feeling the presence next to me, it was scary as fuck. Like I remember like trying to, like, I don't know, like for some odd reason I felt like my face was kind of trying to like look at it, but I was not like, okay, it was like someone was forcing me to look at it, and then I was kind of like pushing away. And then I felt half of my face paralyzed. My whole body was getting paralyzed basically. And then I don't even know why, but I was trying to go like this, and then I couldn't no more because it was kind of like heavy. I remember trying to scream for help and it was not working. That happened, and I remember once again out of nowhere it just came to my head, like, pray and then move your feet. And then I was gonna do one of them. Usually I always do like one of them, but this time I was so scared that I started praying and moving my feet at the same time, and I was able to wake up, which, yes, I was so glad. I woke up, I started using my phone. I checked the time and it was like 4 in the morning. If it would have been 3, I would have been so scared, but it was like 4 in the morning. I used my phone for a little bit, and then I was like closing my eyes, and I heard the sound kind of starting again. So I was like, nah. So I grabbed my phone once again. It was like 4 in the morning, and I started using it. I let like 5 minutes pass. I go to the restroom, just like fully wake up, and then it was super hard for me to go back to sleep. Like I didn't want to go back to sleep because I was scared that it was going to happen again. So that was that. And then last night, I think it was about to happen, but I think I was so scared from the one before that I was like, nah. Like I fought for it to not happen. So if I'm not mistaken, I woke myself up and I was like, nope. And once again I was like scared to go back to sleep. So I just started like, I don't know, like my eyes were open for a long time until I finally fell asleep, and thankfully it did not happen again, which I'm just like, yes. And hopefully it doesn't happen tonight, because it's kind of happening more now. Like, it's the third time this week, and then within those nights it happens at least twice. So, but yeah, that was my story time. Hopefully it made sense and I was not like going all over the place. If this made sense, great. If it didn't, too bad. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, bye.